Husker Nation, welcome once again to the world's greatest Nebraska football podcast, hosted by the Williams brothers, Jeff and Derek, the co-founders of HuskersGameday.com. We've got a special little 90-second intro piece to Episode 3. We hope you enjoy it. 3 of our favorite plays in the history of Nebraska football. Mr. Michael Buffer kicking it off. Husker Nation, let's get ready to rumble!
Nebraska fans, let's get ready to rumble!
Rogers deep for Nebraska. Here's Wiley's kick. Gets high. It holds up there. Rogers takes the ball at the 30. He's hit and got away. Back upfield to the 35, to the 40. He's to the 45. He's to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, to the 20, to the 10. He's all the way home. Holy moly. Man, woman, and child did that. Put him in the aisle. Johnny the Jet Rogers just tore them loose from their shoes.
Schlesinger and Phillips in the eye to snap to Tommy, and they give him the trap play, and it's Schlesinger inside the 5. He's there for the touchdown. He's got the touchdown. It's the touchdown for Corey Schlesinger, and Nebraska takes the lead with 2:46 left to go in the ballgame. And an option to the right. Tommy on the keep, turns the corner, 25-30. Eludes a tackler, 35. Tommy Frazier, 37, 38, 39, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. He's gonna go. Holy cow. Touchdown, Tommy Frazier. Day by day. Day by day. We get better and better. We get better and better. The team can't be beat. The team can't be beat. We'll be beat.
It's time for Huskers Game Day Podcast, Episode 3. Without further ado, let's go to your hosts, the Williams brothers, Derek and Jeffrey G. Take it away, fellas.
Welcome, Husker Nation, to another episode of the world's greatest podcast, dedicated exclusively to Nebraska football. This podcast is run by the co-founders of HuskersGameday.com, the Williams brothers, Jeff and Derek. Jeff, say what's up to Husker Nation.
What's going on, Husker Nation?
Saturday, April 11th, we've got less than 7 days till kickoff of the most anticipated spring game in several years in Lincoln, the red-white game. Jeff, we've got a week till kickoff. What do you expect from Nebraska's offense the spring game?
Well, I read yesterday Zach Lee has the most speed from a Nebraska quarterback since Jamal Lord. So I know that
has the most what?
Speed at quarterback since Jamal Lord, which I don't know, compared to Joe Daly, Joe Gans, Zach Taylor, not, it definitely, I want to see what they can do with that. Are they going to utilize his speed? Are they going to spread it out? But I also want to see some power running, some old school Nebraska, 2 tight ends, some wide receiver blocking, and give it to Castile and Helu and see what they can do. I think, Bo has always said it, the offense will be very multiple, and it'll be interesting to see what version of multiple the 2009 Huskers will bring. I definitely think it's they're going to try for more of a power running game, hit it, with the inexperience at the wide receivers, experience at quarterback. What's your opinion?
We're going to throw. I think we're going to throw the ball a lot less than in other years. Not just because of the inexperience on the wideouts, but just because of the strength of Helu and Castile. Helu's put on a lot of muscle. He looks a lot faster. And Castile had his best game of the season in the Gator Bowl and finished really strong, had his 2 longest runs of the season in that Gator Bowl. And we got that 1-2 rushing attack. We've got a lot of size up front. I think we're going to see a lot of running in the spring game and testing out some quarterbacks. You'd mentioned something about a 2 tight end formation. Do you think they're going to experiment with that a little bit in this game?
They seem to be very happy with the depth that they have at tight end. You have Mike McNeil, a junior who had school record 32 catches last year. But a big emphasis that we hear from Ron Brown and the coaches is blocking. The way tight ends are going to get on the field is through blocking. And I think we are going to see 2 tight ends set. And I think with that extra emphasis, a lot of these guys came out high school catching, and now they have to be retrained to block. So I think that right there is a signal that we're going to see more of a power running game from the Huskers in 2009. Remember Sean Watson, when Sean Watson was in Colorado, he led the Colorado when they scored the 60 points on Nebraska. That was a straight power running game. They didn't have any quarterbacks. They really didn't have that much of a passing game. They just rotated through a couple running backs, Purify, and there's a couple other guys I can't name off the top of my head. But I think that they're going to go for more of that type of set, rather, kind of bring it all in, not spread it out as much. And then if they get more comfortable, you're going to see a little more passing. But I definitely see the power running game, wear them down, ball control, Nebraska that we saw the second half of last year.
Jeff, you're looking at, we're talking about what Huskers might have a good chance to make the All Big 12 team. This morning, April 10th, rather yesterday, April 11th, Nebraska wrapped up a 2.5-hour practice. I'm sorry, that was this morning. They had a 2.5-hour practice this morning, Saturday, April 11th. Two guys sat out, Roy Helu and Jacob Hickman, who we've tabbed to be strong contenders to make the Big 12 team. Queen just said they had a couple minor injuries. There was no rush to hurry them back. Let's talk about Jacob Hickman. He's been a all Big 12 honorable mention candidate his first 2 years in 2007, 2008. Started all 13 contests at center. He's pretty much going to be the anchor of the offensive front in 2009. What do you think, Jeff? Is he pretty much a lock to make first team Big 12 in 2009?
I think he's in a really good position. He just moved from center to right guard this week. Mike Caputo, the walk-on, took the center position. We'll see how that works out. I don't think anything's definite. But, yeah, he's the anchor of the offensive line. Moving him to right guard, it just adds the emphasis on the running game. And I think that he is if anyone on the offensive line can make it, you have to put Jacob Hickman. And you might see him preseason all Big 12. That wouldn't shock me either. What about you? What do you think?
Well, the offensive line made progress throughout 2008. We started off a little slow, but towards the end, we rushed for at least 160 yards in each of the final 6 games of the regular season, including, if you'll remember, we had 340 yards on the ground at Kansas State, which was the most that the Huskers have put up in a Big 12 game since 2002. So, they gave Joe Gantz a lot of time. Joe Gantz didn't really get crushed that much. We finished in the top 20 nationally in scoring, rushing, and total offense. And, I think that we have a young, aggressive team. It seems like Hickman is the guy. You got to have that anchor at center, and he's the most game-tested veteran on the Nebraska offense. So, yeah, I think he has a heck of a great chance to make all Big 12.
I also think Mike McNeil, getting back to him, I think he has a great chance of making all Big 12. I think there's going to be an increased emphasis. He's their most experienced receiver coming in.
Yep.
He's going to be the guy.
Set a record for tight ends with 32 catches.
Yeah, they're going to need him to step up, be a leader, and if he improves his blocking and just has a similar season to last year with a couple more touchdowns, you're going to see him at all Big 12, first team or second team when this thing's all said and done.
Absolutely. Roy Helu Jr., you got to put him on there, and Castile. Either one of those guys could break out depending who gets the most carries, or they might just go who has the hot hand. But both of those guys have a great chance.
Yeah, they're set up for an awesome year. Both of them could get to 1,000 yards this year. That's very realistic. Of course, they might go with the hot hand if Helu can carry the load. I think they're going to go with Helu. So. Yeah, we could see 3 Huskers from those positions be all Big 12, and definitely at least get all honorable mention. I think you're going to see those guys pop up on the preseason list.
Absolutely. We've got the NFL draft coming up in 2 weeks, just a big football time. We got spring practice in 7 days, the NFL draft in 14 days. Lyden Murtha is definitely being tabbed as one of the most intriguing prospects up front. You had mentioned that Nebraska hasn't had a wide receiver drafted since Bobby Newcomb